Hello everybody, it's Dante here, and I thank you so much for tuning into this video today during our continued self-quarantine and isolation and lockdown. So over 4 billion people on the planet right now are in lockdown. Some of us have been there for over a month, some of us for several weeks, and this is a time of a great planetary reset. In this video, I want to talk about some tips that can help everyone make the most out of this time and use this as a sort of personal retreat that adds to your well-being and brings you to really fall in love with yourself and life again. So this is a challenging period on the planet, and a lot of us are facing great uncertainty. However, from the beginning, I've seen the higher purpose to this. We can see that nature in so many places is returning to a natural balance and equilibrium. And we live in a way that is super yang. If you don't know the term, it's very active, extroverted, focused on the external, always doing. And this is not balanced. We need to cultivate this balance between the yin and the yang, and even in ways in the new time, the yin way is more important and more foundational for our well-being. Yin being receptive and open to just receive and learn and experience more passively. So many of us live lives where we work, and most of the time we give all of our time and energy into things that don't really fulfill us. And for some people, doing this is a distraction from the deeper inner experiences they are having, or rather they are not having because they are avoiding the deeper feelings and desires they have and the deeper anxieties that lie within. So this downtime allows those things to come up to the surface to bring us to work on ourselves more. And in this time when we can envision a world that's so different, and this is kind of the base of all of these tips. Before I go into the tips, the first most important thing is that you live what brings you authentic joy, what brings your heart to expand, and what brings you to feel totally in love with life. And a lot of us who have been on a more spiritual path and have structured our lives to highlight and bring to the forefront what brings our heart joy, what fulfills us, are actually doing quite well in these times. I was really sort of shaken up for the first couple of weeks because it's so new and I'm somebody who goes out and interacts a lot. But after I adjusted to that, it really brought me so much deeper into myself and is bringing so much light, joy, connection, and allowing me to do things that I've wanted to do for so long, but haven't given myself the time to do. We all have that opportunity now, and beyond all of these tips, the most important thing is that you learn in every moment. When you have so many choice points in front of you, you could do so many different things with your energy. Which one of them brings you to feel this frequency, this emotion of love, of joy, of connection with yourself? This is all about connecting with ourselves and connecting with what brings us the most authentic joy. And from that state of joy, our whole energy system relaxes. And all of these answers that we seek always will come to us when we really allow ourselves to relax. Everyone is an intuitive being that can tap into so much information and truth about the universe only if they allow themselves to relax and allow the fear-based questioning of the mind to totally step aside. So Bashar is one of my favorite channels that I listen to as a channel, and a channel that has taught me a lot. Bashar's formula is follow your highest excitement with no insistence on a particular outcome. Follow your highest excitement to the best of your ability with no insistence on a particular outcome. And this isn't just a philosophy, it's actually a sort of mechanical formula, because it's sort of the energy behind the law of attraction. When you live in alignment with what your greatest passion or desire is, you emit this high frequency energy that attracts similar frequencies. You follow it to the best of your ability, meaning that you take all of the information and tools at your disposal and put all of your energy and focus into it, and you have no insistence on a particular outcome. So you open yourself to every potential. You open yourself to the idea of success and failure. You open yourself to the idea of getting what you want and also being rejected or having to learn another lesson, because learning another lesson to have more capability is always part of this formula. You never actually fail, you only succeed at failure, because every time you don't go all the way, you gain more insight as to how to bring yourself further. So it's being open to this process of trial and error that actually allows you to get to your goals quickest. This formula is really the foundation for everything, and the Pleiadians say it in a similar but a little bit different way, as do many channels like Abraham and people who are talking about this law of attraction and raising your frequency. It's all about discovering your own unique passion and letting go of your attachments, letting go of your expectations, letting go on the ego's insistence that you know the best way, and allowing the universe to show you what the best way really is. That's behind all of these other tips, and I'm going to read these tips to you, and then I'm going to go deeper into each and every one of them. So ready, tip number 1, drop deeper in your body and develop a regular practice. Number 2, realize the true value of your relationships. Number 3, learn new ideas and express your own creative energy. Number 4, affirm your connections to all of life. Number 5, contemplate and express your own inner truth. Number 6, learn to rest in silence, stillness, void, emptiness, source. So, let's go deeper into all of this. Number 1, again, drop deeper into your body and develop a regular practice. This is the foundation, and I see that all of the work that I've done with a yoga practice and now shifting more into yin yoga and qigong is foundational for everything else that I do, because it's having that clear flow of energy in my body that allows me to fully show up in presence for what I do. And working with the energy body has really opened up my channel to be able to channel. So we need to have this right balance of energies in our body, and using body work to get in touch with how our body really feels is key. Also having the diet that suits us best. So working with our body regularly sets us up to have that deeper connection with our body, that we know what foods make us feel good and which ones don't, that we know how to really adjust our diet and adjust our behavior to be in that highest alignment. So part of this is also a regularity. The more that you do your practice every day at a similar time, not exactly the same time, but around that similar time, the more you sort of develop this pattern. And all energy within this universe works in cycles and patterns. And so we might be in the pattern of, sleeping in for too long and waking up and immediately turning on social media. And we have that opportunity every day to interrupt that pattern and do something that suits us a little bit better. And the more that we do that, the more our body and our energy system and everything within us adjusts to the new pattern that we kind of installed. And we can show up for it. And again, when it's our highest excitement, when we feel passion for it. So that allows the whole thing to work quicker, and we won't have any resistance to it. So perhaps you've learned a yoga practice and that's not exciting to you anymore. Like me, you want to switch to qigong. Or perhaps you are in qigong and you want to switch to yoga, because changing things up allows us to gain a more holistic perspective, have every method and understanding out there at our disposal, so we can really see which one suits us uniquely in every single moment. Change it up and do the one that makes you feel the best. And know that feeling in your body and feeling good in your body is the foundation for everything else you experience. We're cosmic beings, and we're also here physical beings. And the more we deepen into our physicality, the more we open up to that cosmic energy as well. Number 2, realize the true value of your relationships. So we often do not prioritize our relationships. We prioritize getting things done and being successful and being seen in other senses. Or maybe you are somebody who prioritizes your relationships and this is taking you deeper. Though we want to really feel the full value of them, especially now that we are disconnected from each other more. We don't have as much time. A lot of people are starting to feel lonely and feel, oh, wow, these relationships are actually really important to me and really significant. And we're also discovering that through these little technological boxes, we still have that same ability to connect. And we can go deeper into our relationships when we bring all of our truth into them, when we allow all of the feelings that we're experiencing to be expressed, all of the beliefs about ourselves that we're processing to be expressed, and our full truth to come out. And on the flip side, the act of listening to other people, when we listen so deeply that we listen with all of ourselves, we listen to the energy behind the words, we open them, that within them, we offer them that same opportunity to go deeper in themselves, to bring everything out. Connection and relationship is actually a need. And there's, according to Bashar, going back to that, 7 neutral needs. The first is air, breath, then water, then sleep, then food, then shelter, then relationship, and then 7th, self-expression. Relationship is actually a need because it allows us through that reflection to see ourselves and to understand we are connected parts of everything. And we need to strengthen these connections with others in order to fully feel in our own essence. And so you have now so many relationships perhaps around the world, people that are in your community. I have relationships around the world, but in who knows, in your community or around the world, maybe you're not meeting with people as regularly, but you can still call them up and you can still go deep. And when you allow that exchange of heart energy to expand, you come to know yourself more and you come to see bigger purposes. And those relationships are the foundation of really how we go out and we relate to the collective. Through the most intimate relationships, our network expands and expands. 3, learn new ideas and express your own creative energy. So there's so many courses, webinars, and the internet is chock full of information. Or maybe you have books, you can order books. But with all this downtime, when we expand our mind and we learn new ideas and we, give ourselves more reference points through which to understand reality, we can have a more complete perspective and we can contribute more to all that is. And right now, Venus is in Gemini, which is all about ideas, all about community, communication, and all about some form of learning. Venus is all about what brings us love and pleasure. And so we're having this love and pleasure for connection, communication, new ideas, and learning right now. And this is going to be until the end of June that we are experiencing Venus in Gemini retrograde. Retrograde is also a point for more introspection and more contemplation even. So taking time aside to learn something new is really going to enrich you. And you may have been studying things for a while, so this could also be the time to express those ideas out into the world. Offer your knowledge and share what you know to be true. Allow the creativity within you to express in some form, and you will discover great wisdom and truth and understanding within yourself only through that expression. And there's never been a more powerful time to do that, and I'm really enjoying it. So, number 4, affirm your connectedness to all of life. So one thing that we're coming to realize more in these times is that nothing is separate, that all of this pollution is affecting the atmosphere. And when we stop moving, then nature starts to respond. And we're seeing life return to so many places where it's been cut off for a while. And if you have clear access to nature and you're not locked down to the degree that you can't go out and feel the trees and feel the ocean or the water, this is one of the best things to do, because that same energy that flows through nature flows through you. And when you can tap into that interconnectedness of the energy, taking the energy in and returning your love, making offerings to nature, doing ceremonies with nature, you can feel that we're all part of this bigger web, that Mother Nature is receiving our prayers. And when we can feel our oneness with nature, we can help others awaken to that as well. So that's one level of connectedness that really grounds us. And then we're connected in this whole new digital way that I'm clearly quite a fan of. And of course, we have this idea of 5G and all of these other technologies that aren't so good for us. Yet, this is a step in the process, and I personally have to learn to limit my screen time and not overextend myself. Like yesterday, I had 3 calls. That was enough. I couldn't do anything else that day. That was like 5 hours of my time, and the messages and everything else to respond to, I said, no, I'm going to hold off a second. And again, going back to that first idea is nurturing myself first. And that just allows us to have more energy to give. But through the internet and through these connections, we can see how every little bit of energy we pour out there ripples out. So it's really important to note how when we're interacting on social media or anything of this nature, we have to be putting out love-based energies, because when we spread fear-based energies that we're concerned about this happening or that happening, or all of this is going wrong, that ripples out and affects the greater web of life with that same vibration. Other people can get trapped into that vibration. So asking for help and complaining are 2 different things. To ask for help and say, I'm in this vulnerable space, I could use some support, is so different than complaining. And it puts out a love-based energy, and it reflects an energy of self-love that empowers other people to see where they may need help. But if you were just complaining and kind of putting yourself in this victim position, that is going to ripple out in a negative way that continues to reflect to you that you aren't enough, that you don't have enough, that, you know, all of those nasty things that we don't really want to feel and experience. So in affirming our connection to everything, we want to remember that the energy we put out ripples and continues to ripple. And notice that when you put out that love, when you tell people you love them, when you share messages that inspire and bring people to focus on what's most important, that energy is returned to you. And even if the way you're expressing your love and connectedness is simply sitting in a meditation, you can feel how the loving vibration you put out is also returned to you. Number 5, contemplate and express your own inner truth. So use this time to do deeper inner work, examine yourself, look at your negative belief systems, and look at what makes you unique as well. As we take the time to discover our own uniqueness, we're setting ourselves up for fulfilling a new role in a new world. The old world, again, is crumbling. It's over. The old world robs people of their individuality and tells people what to do, how to fit in a box, and how to fit into this framework of society that isn't necessarily fulfilling to them personally. So now with this time off, when we can discover what makes us unique and what uniquely turns us on, lights us up, and brings us joy, we can own that, and we can, in a way, affirm that I am not going to fit myself into that box anymore. I am going to take this uniqueness and these unique desires within me and make that my abundance, make that my role in the world, make that my vocation. That sets us up to be a part of the new world where everyone lives their own unique joy, and we understand that everyone's joy makes the thing complete. Some people really like cleaning, so they're the cleaners. Some people really like cooking, so they're the cooks in the community. Some people are artists, and that brings everyone else joy. Some people are really passionate about chopping wood. That's their job. And you can see how this goes out to the bigger things that play out in the world. And the truth is, if you don't like this idea, the truth is we already have enough resources to feed everyone on the planet and take care of everyone on the planet. And it's only this system that's designed to empower some while disempowering others that keeps the resources distributed unequally. So we have to really, it's an Aquarian age. Aquarius is an idealist. So we have to stop looking at reality because we've been conditioned to perceive reality as something it's not. This society and the rules and the regulations of it is not reality. That is limitation and constriction, and you don't have to conform to it. So when you really give yourself permission to understand that, you can actually look to these ideals of what a true egalitarian world is, what a true empowered world is, what a true world where everyone is uniquely themselves is. And it is discovering your own individual essence that actually allows you to have a more collective sense of the human experience, because homogenization isn't the natural human experience. Being like everyone isn't the natural human experience. But when you discover your uniqueness, you can really feel more clearly that same essence. You can feel more clearly what aspects of our experience are the same, and you can share your unique take on those essential qualities of our experience that inspire other people to discover their own unique essence. Because again, this is about self-knowledge, and it's in awakening that self-knowledge that we can be that inspiration for others. And together, as we do this, we're all going to become telepathic, intuitive beings, where the old ways that we learned and shared information and energy become obsolete, and we start to tap into these more cosmic frequencies. Okay. Last one, learn to rest in silence, stillness, the void, beyondness, source. This one is perhaps the most important because it's in this that we can really fully let go. And so often we're conditioned to keep moving, keep doing, fill the void with something. If we're feeling empty, we eat ice cream, or we distract ourselves with a TV show, or we even do a spiritual practice in order to fill that void. Yet ultimately, that sense of emptiness and nothingness is something we have to learn to surrender to and rest into. And when we can stop the reactionary pattern of filling the void, then the void is filled with this unconditional love of source. We can simply rest into that. So when we are super entirely content within ourselves, then our relationships are deeper because we're not using our connection with the other person to fill the void. When we're totally and completely at ease in doing nothing, then when we are inspired to find new ideas or work with our creative energy or connect with an external force, it's only adding to it. But if we're not content just being with ourselves and we're avoiding those truest feelings within us, everything we do has this layer of anxiety and pressure and seeking. And that seeking is okay for a while, though when it's habitual and there's never an ability to just rest and do nothing beyond the moments you go to sleep, then you're kind of harming yourself. You're not letting yourself in on the full picture of all of the cosmic love that is really there for you. So taking time to meditate, taking time to just be, laying in your bed, laying in a hammock, just sitting with the trees and nature, and letting those moments in between be totally perfect as they are will really bring you to the essence of your source self. Now, on one level, you could say that this time is really about self-love and self-care. And what is really most important for all of us is that we feel that greater connection to love and that we affirm that connection to love with each other. And the way that we've lived so far has been to just continue to seek love in relationship to another. And the truth is we can use this time to really be firm anchors of love within ourselves, to have such a complete love for ourselves that the other relationships are only adding to the frequency of love that we're already holding. And we don't feel a lack of love or a loss or an inadequacy that we attempt to compensate for in another. And I'm coming to that point a lot more myself. It has been challenging. It has been with a lot of feeling of loneliness. Before all of this happened, I was feeling really deeply lonely, looking for a relationship or simply looking to be understood. And as everything happened that brought me to move from place to place, trying to find my right home so that I could be at ease during quarantine, it was this whole kind of shift inward for me where I came to face that love, and I came to face, all of these things I'm talking about. I've been doing all of this and finding the love for myself within it. And as I do that, I feel so much more ready and capable in showing up in all of my connections. And it's really a glorious, beautiful, and joyful experience. It can be that way. And if it isn't that way, I hope that you can not see that what I'm saying is some sort of Pollyanna, like rose-colored glasses. Everything is great, because there is a lot of loss happening right now on the planet. And there is a lot of grieving that's natural. And if that's the experience you're in, that's totally okay. And this information still applies. It's still the method through which you can move from that period of deep grief into joy, flow, acceptance, love. And that energy is at the same time not to make the grief, the loss, the confusion wrong. And you may have seen in many other videos, I encourage people to stop questioning what's going on and to focus more on their own self-care. So here I have explained what it really means to have that self-care. Externally looking for answers and trying to prove facts and trying to debate about what coronavirus is actually not any of the things I just talked about, in case you were confused about that. Fighting with people on the internet about what coronavirus is not included in this list, though people can still do that. So I feel like that's complete, and I hope this brings you a lot of love and joy, and following these tools assists you. If you have any further questions or things you want to talk to me about, hit me up in the comments. I'm trying to make as many videos as I can. It's challenging here in Guatemala where the internet is not very good. But I'm really doing my best to put out, say, 4 to 6 videos a week. Wednesday this week is my channeling session, live streamed on my Facebook feed. Check that out. And I'm offering channeling sessions, astrology readings, healing sessions, and enjoying the flow of this life and hoping to be of service in all the best ways that I can. I love you, sending you blessings, joy, harmony, and inner peace on this powerful day. Enjoy the new moon on Wednesday, and yes, love, joy, whatever else. Bye.